emergency services because, well, your house is on fire, but when they show up, you realize the fire department is holding the matches. And then, like, they arrest you for arson.
Right, yeah, it sounds like a bad movie plot.
It really does. But welcome to the deep dive. I've got a stack of Supreme Court rulings here, and today we are looking at this deeply disturbing 2025 case. It's Khursheed Ahmad Chohan versus the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Our mission today is to figure out what happens when the protectors become the perpetrators, and how the highest court steps in to safeguard Article 21, which is our constitutional right to life and dignity.
It is a chilling scenario, honestly. And to really grasp the legal earthquake this caused, we have to look at the human tragedy first. So we're talking about a serving police constable named Khursheed. In February 2023, he was called to a joint interrogation center in Kupwara.
Wait, let's pause there because that is the wildest part to me. He wasn't even a civilian. He was an insider. But instead of, a standard inquiry, he's illegally detained and tortured for 6 days. I mean, the medical records are just gruesome. He suffered amputated genitals and ended up in a coma.
Yeah, it's horrific. And rather than register a first information report, an FIR against the officers, the police actually filed an FIR against Khursheed.
Wow, they went after the victim.
Yeah, they claimed he tried to commit suicide by cutting himself with a shaving blade just to derail their investigation.
I mean, that's just a blatant cover-up. And so when his wife couldn't get the local police to file an FIR against the torturers, she actually took it to the High Court. But the High Court's reaction makes literally no sense to me. They ordered a preliminary inquiry conducted by the senior superintendent of police,
right, yeah,
who is the direct boss of the accused officers. I mean, isn't there a fundamental rule against grading your own test?
Oh, absolutely there is. It's a core legal maximum, nemo judex in causa sua, meaning no one should be a judge in their own cause.
Right, obviously.
You just cannot have local police investigating their own subordinates for torture. And that's exactly why Khursheed's family appealed that bizarre high court order and brought the fight directly to the Supreme Court.
Okay, so that explains how the Supreme Court got involved. Because the family knew that local inquiry was basically a trap.
Precisely. So the Supreme Court pointed out that under Indian law, specifically Section 154 of the Criminal Procedure Code, which is now Section 173 of the BNSS, police absolutely must register an FIR immediately for cognizable crimes.
Which are the serious ones, right? Where they can arrest without a warrant.
Exactly, yeah. And while police do sometimes run preliminary inquiries first, the court ruled that in cases of custodial violence, those inquiries are strictly barred. Giving corrupt officers time to inquire just gives them time to destroy evidence.
That makes complete sense. So the Supreme Court threw out that fabricated suicide FIR using the Custodial guidelines. Those fall under Section 482 of the CRPC or 528 of the BNSS, giving courts the power to just cancel blatantly malicious prosecutions. But I'm looking at the state's defense here, and they really doubled down. They argued he intentionally mutilated himself to derail a narcotics probe. How did the Supreme Court legally bypass that without getting bogged down in like a he said, she said situation?
Well, they relied on physics and modern healthcare law, actually. First, just looking at the medical evidence, the justices noted the sheer severity of the injuries. It is physically impossible to self-inflict complete castration with a blade without passing out from the pain and blood loss. The police narrative just defied basic human biology.
Right, so objective medical records acted as this impenetrable constitutional shield. But wait, what about the legal charge of attempted suicide?
This is where the court used a really brilliant mechanism. Instead of just debating criminal law, they brought in the Mental Health Care Act. Section 115 of that act fundamentally changes how the state views self-harm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it dictates that anyone attempting suicide is presumed to be under severe stress and requires medical care, not a jail cell. So by applying a modern healthcare statute, the court legally overrode the outdated criminal charge the police were trying to weaponize.
Wait, really? So they used a healthcare law to neutralize a fabricated criminal charge. That is a fascinating strategy.
It really is. And the Supreme Court recognized that a violation of the right to life and dignity this severe, it required an extraordinary remedy. So they ordered a completely independent investigation by the CBI.
India's federal agency.
Exactly, totally removed from the local police. Plus, they awarded 50 lakhs in compensation to Khursheed, and they stipulated the state must recover that money directly from the guilty officers' pockets.
Wow, hitting them right in the wallet. So just wrapping this up for you listening at home, this case establishes that police cannot legally refuse an FIR to protect themselves. If you're ever facing state abuse, immediate and objective medical records are your absolute strongest defense.
Yeah, and for the legal professionals, we see the absolute legal bar against police dragging their feet with preliminary inquiries when accused of violence. It also highlights the sheer power of cross-referencing different types of law.
Like using a mental health statute to dismantle a malicious prosecution? It's an incredible victory for accountability. But here's something to chew on as we wrap up today. The Supreme Court previously mandated that CCTV cameras be installed in all police stations to prevent exactly this kind of darkroom torture. Yet, if an insider can be held and mutilated for 6 days without a single camera catching the truth, what good is surveillance infrastructure when the people running the station control the delete button? Something for you to think about. We'll catch you next time.